Hey guys, it's Silver Status here, and welcome to the first of many anime-related videos. So, if you're into anime as much as I am, you've probably seen hundreds, if not even thousands, of anime at this point. So how do you go about choosing which one's your favourite? There are lots of really good ones out there, and some not as good. But what you enjoy is down to you as an individual, kind of shows your personality. There are lots of anime that are universally accepted as good, but are they your favourites? I'm not really a reviewer, and definitely not a critic or an analytic, but here are my top 5 favourite animes. I'll start off by saying that this list is completely subjective, which should be kind of obvious because the word favourite is subjective in and of itself. And I'll also keep things spoiler free, so that if you haven't already, which lucky you guys can get involved. Also, I haven't seen everything, so this list can change, but as of now, these 5 are the ones that I enjoyed the most of my time watching anime. With that out of the way, let's go! So, long-running shonens are a bit of a mixed bag. They're usually a person's gateway into watching anime. I know for me, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, they were all the first shows that I watched. But after watching a bigger variety of genres and shorter, concise shows that get pumped out each season, sitting down and watching hundreds of episodes becomes a little bit more difficult for people who've seen so much. I don't think I would have appreciated Naruto as much if I'd watched it now than I did when everything was fresh and new to me back then. Hunter, however, is not a long-running shonen that's difficult to get into. More specifically, the 2011 remake. I haven't watched the 1999 one, so if anyone's seen that, let me know if it's worth watching. The arcs are incredibly fun, and the story is able to balance a childish main character with his childish outlooks on life, with darker tones and themes throughout. This adaptation has clean art and solid animation throughout, so it's never jarring to look at. Hunter is widely acclaimed to be one of the best shonens available, and when you see it, it's easy to see why. It's not perfect, and I personally think that the second to last arc dragged on way longer than it should have. But for how much I enjoyed it and how much I loved the characters, that's why I'm placing Hunter at my number 5. With that being said, shonen isn't my favourite at all. As basic as it sounds, I love the dumb shoujo tropes a lot more. So over the years, I've seen enough of them to recognise them from a mile away, but none are more iconic to me than Kimi ni Todoke, or in English, From Me to You. So I'd only literally been introduced to the shoujo genre through Say I Love You and My Little Monster, and I loved them so much. But Kimi ni Todoke felt to me like shoujo perfection. The art style was super fluffy, and the chibi character designs were really adorable. The romance was incredibly long-winded and awkward, but I connected with a lot of it. The shoujo-esque music was my first feel on to what to expect from these kind of shows. But it was also one of my first ever genuine looks into what Japan life was like. There were no ninjas, there were no pirates with special powers or any man-eating titans or anything like that. It was just Japan, rural life, just relatable characters going to school. This was kind of like the first time that I got to see, wow, this is what Japan is like. And these shoujo archetypes would stick with me for any of the shows that I watched in the future. Any character with like a sweet personality on the outside, but like that horrible snaky character on the inside, I would call them Kurumis. Sawako's best friends in Chizuru and Ayane, they would be the bar that I would set for best friend characters. I know that Kimi ni Todoke wasn't the first to do all of these tropes, but they did them so well that it stuck with me even to this day after watching who knows how many shoujos. It's still my favourite. I know that if you're into painstakingly long relationship build-up, then this is the show for you. So, I don't know how many people have seen Hyouka, because I don't really hear much said about Hyouka, but this show was 100% one of the most enjoyable shows that I've seen. I must have been going through a KyoAni phase, because I just finished Tamako Market, I think it was, and I was decided to find what is the next one that I can watch. I don't know about you guys, or how you go about finding a new show to watch. I think most people would probably go online, find a review, or get a recommendation from a friend. Back in my day, I'd log onto Tumblr and I would check out all of the GIFs that would be made of different animes. And if I saw something that looked nice, then I'd go straight for it. You can't really tell if the story's gonna be any good or not, but I was curious enough, pun intended, to give it a try. Hyouka is interesting. It's super interesting. This is a character-driven show, and the main cast really keeps it going. So fundamentally, it is a mystery show that was based on a 2001 Japanese mystery novel of the same name. But this isn't your typical murder mystery or Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. With the help of Chitanda's curiosity, or Kininarimasu, it mixes Japanese folklore with the slice of life setting. The idea of school clubs, after school activities, and friendship dynamics. They're all themes that are properly explored in a meaningful way. If you're not a fan of traditional shoujo anime, but you still enjoy a well-told romance story or two, then you will definitely enjoy Hyouka. So in this show, there are a few daydreaming sequences that bring the abstract into the real-life world. The animation, as KyoAni does for this, is seriously special. It goes without saying that this show looks incredible, and I'd probably recommend it based on how it looks alone, like any KyoAni production. But there's something a little curious that's allowed Hyouka to stay with me all this time, so check it out. Okay, so I'm probably cheating here. If top 5 kind of means top 7-ish, then that's just how it is. But these 3 anime hold a collective second place in my personal experience of watching anime, so I couldn't separate them, and I didn't want to do a honorary mention or anything like that. So here are the 3 that I would recommend as my second favourite anime. So I'll briefly touch on why I enjoyed these so much, but I think that I'll probably save these for a full review at some point. So I'd like to think that I'm not one of those anime elitists, but Neon Genesis Evangelion is my entry into the list of anime you need to watch. You don't need to identify with it, you don't need to understand it, heck, you don't even need to like it, but you probably will, a lot. Neon Genesis Evangelion brought in the archetypes that you know and love, like Rei and Asuka, your kuderes and tsunderes. It's an anime that's changed the medium forever. The memes are abundant, the plot delves more into the human psyche than a psychology lecture for a psychology degree, and the animation is on point, even to today's standards, well, not including those last 2 episodes. Conveniently, this has all been relicensed by Netflix to stream now. I'm not one to endorse English dubs, but there isn't really any other way for you to watch it legally, so get on that and watch that one. So for 2.2, this is probably one of the most emotional things that I've ever seen. The writing isn't perfect by any stretch, but the themes of relationships are really, really hard hitting. I'm sure for most people you'll have something that kind of triggers you a little bit more than other things. For me, that dynamic is relationships, particularly parental relationships for some reason. So I play the piano myself, and the setting of a piano prodigy is really interesting, I'm sure, but for me it's the way that the people and the characters connected that really made me love this show. I initially watched it when it aired weekly, and I bawled my eyes out every week. I'd recently started rewatching this on the way to work on the train, and I'm crying on the train every time I watch it. It's good, it's really good. The musical element might not be for everyone, but I think it's something that everyone should give a try. So finally, in my second place is a bit of a gem. Sakamichi no Poron, or Kids on the Slope, is set in 1966, and it follows a high school pianist who moves from somewhere near Tokyo to the rural Kyushu. He meets his thuggish classmate who has a passion for playing the drums, and it follows their connection from there. 2 things to note for this one is that it was directed by Watanabe Shinichiro, who was the genius behind Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. And it's also a josei manga adaptation. So again, this follows the theme of exploring relationship dynamics, and it fleshes this out really, really well. And on top of this show is stunning to look at, but it's the music and the soundtrack that really blows you away when you watch this. Composed by Kanno Yoko, this follows the jazz music era for its time. And for anyone that enjoys the history of music or just blues, jazz in general, you really, really should have seen this one. I'm sure you have, to be honest. So that was just a brief commentary on the 3 shows that kind of linked up as my second favourite, but I'll likely go into more detail in those. So without further ado, this is my number 1 favourite anime of all time, undisputed. So this is it. This is my favorite. I could genuinely talk forever about why I love this show. I love the original broadcast order. Watching it out of chronology was different and a fresh experience. I love the fact that it's slice of life mixed with the supernatural. It blended so well and things were never boring. I love the characters. Kyon is my favorite protagonist of all time. And if I had to, I could follow the SOS Brigade on their adventures forever. But more so than that, I fell in love with the masterpiece that was the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. So I'm going to go into spoiler territory for a minute or two. So if you haven't seen this masterpiece or the sequel movie that came with it, click over here to skip to the non-spoiler territory. So that will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. All gone? Good. Endless 8 was necessary for the movie to have such a good payoff. So for those who have stuck around in this video but for whatever reason haven't seen Haruhi, Endless 8 is an 8-episode arc that literally plays the same episode 8 times. So that is pretty much 2 hours and 40 minutes minimum of your time being used watching the exact same thing, albeit with some small, amazing changes to animation and perspective. But by putting yourself through this, it gives you the tiniest kind of idea of what one of the characters, Yuki Nagato, best girl, who has experienced the same 2 weeks of summer vacation 15,332 times, has gone through. And this has a major impact on the events that happen in the movie. The effort and production value in that movie makes it one of the best, if not the best, movie I've ever seen. It is a bit of a shame that you need to watch the series to fully appreciate the movie, but the themes, plot, and foreshadowing are all top tier. So this was a bit of a tangent, but it kind of gives you an idea as to why I love this show or series so much. I've got a couple of the light novels and I need to get in on it. So if I've got any other Haruhi fans out there, let me know. Oh, you're back? Awesome. So I don't have all the time in the world to convince you as to why this is the best anime in the world. So I've linked down in the comments a couple of spoiler-free reviews for you guys to watch in your own time. If you haven't already. I'm hoping that the overlay of clips that I've posted in this video will pique some of your interests enough to give some of them a try. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my totally not professional opinion on what my favourite animes are. If you want to watch any that I've mentioned, you can find legal streaming options down in the description. I'll be posting more anime content from now on, so if you enjoy this, please click subscribe and also tick that notification bell so that you never miss a video. Also guys, if you could for me, let me know what your favourite anime is and what kind of videos you'd like to see from me down in the comments section below. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.